What is up? It's Horse, King of the Nutshot, and this is my daily vlog documenting my recovery of a CSF leak. That's a cerebral spinal fluid leak, and I'm coming at you live right now, trying out a new software, so this could be a little sketchy here. I'm not sure if you could see black at the beginning, or if you could actually see what was going on, so I apologize if this takes me a couple seconds to get going. Let me know in the comments if you see what's going on. I think I'm about 10 seconds delayed. So I'm catching that some of you guys saw my intro, and then hopefully you're seeing me talking right now. So let's see. Because one thing I don't want to do, the first time I ever tried to go live, I talked for about 20 minutes. YouTube uploaded 17 seconds, and I felt like a complete a-hole, and I wasted a bunch of time and energy doing it. Okay, everybody saw a little black at the beginning. Apologize about that. Hopefully we're good to go now, because I think everybody's seeing what I'm seeing. So basically, I can see your comments, but what I'm going to do... Nice. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to go through some questions I got on my last video, talk about those, and then I'm going to shift over and look at the chat and start answering a couple questions that you guys are answering live. So this is going to be a little bit of a longer feed. If you guys have no idea what's been going on, I have suffered from a CSF leak, a cerebral spinal fluid leak, for about 5 years now. About 2.5 months ago, I got patched up, and I am in recovery. So a good bit of that is why you haven't seen any crazy videos from me lately, and really it's why you haven't seen a lot of crazy videos from me the last couple years, and why my YouTube's been so up and down with releases, is because I've been kind of suffering from this injury. I don't even want to call it this injury, this medical condition, and I have not been totally well, so it's been hard on and off trying to figure out what the hell was wrong with me, and then get fixed up, which I finally did. So I'm going to start going through some questions. Some of them are just shouts, some of them are on CSF leaks, and some of them are on nutshots or stunts in general. I kind of looked at these questions, but I didn't really think about them or anything, so that my reactions kind of coming totally live. So some of these I might even have to think on and figure out. So here's my first question. There was a video, or there was always, oh my gosh, there always was the video on your channel that said film day #1 for Nasty 2. What happened with Nasty 2? Why was it never completed? Is there a lot of unseen footage you shot from that film? Wish you the best. So that's from Sausage and the Gossip. So if you don't know, Nasty was the original DVD that I created of my stunts. Kind of, it was all the stunts from when I was in high school, and then all the stunts like after high school, when I first started like taking me and my character as the horse and the stunts that I do more in a professional way, where I wanted to entertain. Like, that's what I wanted to do for a living. So the first DVD, it's a very amateur DVD, but it was the first thing I completely like finished, full DVD box. I put it up on Amazon. It was for sale, and right now I think you can even search it on YouTube, and you can watch it for free on YouTube. So if you want to check that out, I started filming Nasty 2, and the problem that I came into was basically all the stunts that I wanted to do were either extremely gnarly or required a budget. So I was funding the thing completely by myself. So some of the very first things that I shot was the Annihilation 2, when I pulled the helicopter with my balls. I wanted to do like more crazy, insane things that required a lot of money to do, and my big thing is I wanted absolutely everything in the DVD to be completely fresh, like never seen before footage. And it was taking so long that there was just certain things that I could not wait to put out. and I wasn't sure if I'd ever finish some of the things, finish the DVD. So I started slowly putting out some of the footage, and as I started slowly putting out the footage, I became the DVD market kind of fell, so there wasn't really a great way, like it wasn't going to profit me to put out a DVD, but I still wanted to do it kind of for the boys, for the glory. I wanted to put out this DVD to entertain people, and it became the point as a parent of two girls that the only, like, I needed to do things where I was gonna, it's not like all about the money for me, but I needed to be smart, and I couldn't just waste a lot of time and money trying to put together a DVD that wasn't going to, that I would probably lose money on. And so I decided, well, I can get these videos up on YouTube, get the ads on them, kind of, that's where things are moving anyways, kind of continue my career that way. And once I started doing that, the kind of Nasty 2 vision or dream kind of fell apart. So that's what happened there. All right, next question. J-Boxer J, wishing you the best, man. You can tell you are down. It stinks seeing someone who brings joy to so many people going through so much. Hang in there, brother. So that's just a statement. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for reaching out. Kind words like that really mean a lot to me. Taryn Daniel, sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, or any of you that I give a shout out to. Sorry, that's not my strong suit. What are your plans for future college, workforce, YouTube still? Been a fan since the day you uploaded your grinding down the stairs with your nuts. So that was almost 10 years ago that I actually did that stunt. So my plans for the future. So I did college. Right off the bat, I got an associate's degree in multimedia, which is where I learned how to do a lot of this. I do all my video editing, all my graphic design. I used to do my website. I don't do a website, just send you to my YouTube nowadays. But I do all that stuff myself. I got a job right out of school in a magazine company, and I could not stand the idea. I had this fear of sitting in an office the rest of my life and wasting my dreams and not ever being able to kind of do the things I wanted. So after like 2 weeks, I think, of sitting in this office, I quit on the spot, and I actually went out and filmed the hand-drill nutshot. And ever since then have been making a living off doing stunts. So my goal in the future, I have two big goals. I want to continue doing my stunts if I can get healthy, which I will get healthy. That's my main goal. I will continue doing my stunts, and hopefully will continue my YouTube as well as some type of TV show, in the sense whether it's an actual TV show like on MTV or one of those networks, or there's just so many options now with Netflix and Amazon and Facebook TV and all these different platforms that's where I really want to be doing crazy stunts on a budget, and hopefully doing it in a way where I can actually, it's not just me destroying my body and destroying my nuts. I'm actually putting a positive message out there and helping people. Ultimately, I want to use my platform to entertain by what I do, but hopefully I can use that to either spread positive information or just send a solid message out to people to kind of do more than just entertain. So that's where I want to end up in that sense of it. It's just a very tough thing that doesn't always happen for everybody that tries. I've been very lucky. I've had a show on MTV when I was 21 years old. It aired when I was 24, 25, and it wasn't crazy popular or anything. A lot of people didn't see it. And then I actually signed a deal with MTV last year, and it unfortunately at the very last second got canned, and it didn't work out. But I've been kind of doing TV shows with America's Got Talent. And American Ninja Warrior and Web Soup and all these different TV shows throughout the last basically decade, and I'm going to try to keep that going. My second goal is I run a parkour free running ninja program at a local gymnastics gym. I've been doing it the last couple years. I have just about 100 kids now signed up for my program that I teach every week. It's really exciting. It's another thing that I really love, is doing flips and parkour and free running, and obviously I've been on Ninja Warrior and all that stuff, so I love that stuff. And ultimately, I'd like to run my own gym in kind of hopefully even in the near future, and I would like that to be kind of my retirement plan, or my backup is continuing to teach and run a program where I can have youth come in and learn a positive sport and be active and kind of carry on all the things that I have loved to do for the last 20 years of my life, and kind of defined a lot of who I am beyond the stunts. So those are the two main things that I'm kind of focused on heading forward. Obviously, right now, my recovery is the biggest thing on my mind. Let's see here. Next question. All right. I don't even know how to say his name. Camzo Clan wants a shout out. Now, I met this kid down in Florida when I was in Disney, and I've been doing this mini series kind of on YouTube. It's like a vlog of my recovery to Disney World when I had my CSF leak. I got 3 episodes in. I was releasing them every Monday, but the last 2 weeks have been just so crazy. I haven't got a chance to edit the last 3 episodes. And I told him when I would give him a shout out on the episode that he was in, and I just haven't got to it, so I kind of feel bad, but he keeps asking for it. So big shout out to him, and I will give him another shout out when I get to that point again in those videos. So if you like Disney World, or you want to see how it is trying to kind of go on a family trip when you have a major recovery issue like a leaking spine, go check out those videos. They're in their Disney World vlog, I think. I forget. Disney World leaking spine or something like that. All right, next question. Seth says, Seth Hicksy, you're doing great, man. Keep up the vlogs. It's a good outlet. I used to love sitting down and editing videos together. Love from Flint. So thanks, man. That's more just like I wanted to give a shout out to you because I really appreciate the words. I love editing to a certain degree, not when I have like too much to edit, but the reason I'm doing this vlog, besides trying to spread some awareness and get some good information out there and continue to grow my YouTube fan base while I'm recovering, is because it keeps me sane and it gives me something positive to do. Otherwise, I'd be just sitting around going stir crazy. Next. Hashtag cups are for cheaters, crying child. Yeah, I just wanted to put this out there because that's one of my mottos. I actually have a t-shirt on my store, horse.bigcartel.com, that says cups for cheaters. It's been my slogan. I've said it on TV a bunch of times. A lot of people can't even believe this or think that I wear a cup when I do nutshots, and I'm just completely against it. For me personally, if I'm going to shoot a video, I'm not going to cheat. I'm not going to fake you guys. I'm going to do it real. And so yeah, cups are for cheaters. Not even sure exactly how to say this. Paul or Paula, keep your head down and lots of water. I do gallons of it in first days. I know, but I'm nuts. See your doctor if it's okay to hang upside down on an inversion table. It might help if it's really nasty. Now, the reason I put this one up is this was more information to me about my CSF leak. I figured it would be great for anybody else that's going for a CSF leak, and I really, really like that it might help me get really nasty. I love getting nasty, so I appreciate your comment. Here we go. JT4G Maker. Have beta blockers like... See, all right. I remember when I read this. So this comment, you guys can read it up there on the screen, is almost just too much for my brain to even handle. And I didn't have time to go look up some of these things individually to figure out what was actually being said here. This is just, man, I get hit in the nuts for a living. This is just way too much for my horse brain to handle. So I'm going to try to actually break this down later and kind of decipher this madness. But I wanted to put it up if anybody wanted to check it out as well that are suffering from CSF leaks, because I'm sure it's great information, and I really appreciate you reaching out and trying to help me out. I have no problem. Obviously, I have no problem looking stupid. I'm not a doctor. I'm the king of the nutshot, and that doesn't mean I can't go on and figure out what some of this stuff actually means, and some of this like kind of like medical words, or kind of break it down and figure out what it means. But like I put this up knowing that it would make me look stupid. 519 Forrest Monk tunes into a lot of videos, and he just says blessings, friend. And I appreciate him checking out my videos. I wanted to give him a little shout out. Are you immortal? From Sam. No. There's been some nutshots where, so when I saw this question or this statement, I was thinking, there's been times when I've done nutshots, like two in particular, when I did the tractor trailer tire nutshot, and when I did the bowling ball off the roof nutshot. And my adrenaline was so high on those stunts that it almost didn't even hurt. And it blew my mind so much that I didn't get injured at all. Like, I literally got up and just screamed and was fine, doing some of the things, so like literally something that would break somebody else's pelvis, or would send somebody to the hospital, or like would put somebody in like the most insane amount of pain, that I was just like, it almost like didn't hurt me. And so there's been times when I've been so freaked out where I felt immortal, but obviously I'm sitting here with a patched up leaking spine, so I'm not immortal as much as I maybe wish I was. All right, Tony watches a lot of my videos. I see him coming up in my comments quite often. Hope you heal up, man. I was hoping you'd feel a bit better by now. Hate not seeing you able to do stunts. I hope you're able to still do stunts videos when you heal up. Take it easy, horse. You deserve it. Been here since the beginning and will be to the end. So I really appreciate that. That, Tony, is a huge shout out. Those kind words mean a lot to me. I thought maybe I'd feel a lot better now too. I know that this process was going to be long. Christmas, if everything goes perfect, that's when I can do nutshots again. I just had I did a interview today with a writer from the New York Times, and it was a lady that actually had a CSF leak herself, and has wrote best-selling books before, is writing a book now about CSF leaks. And she was actually so surprised that I was sitting up and so active only 2.5 months after my CSF leak was patched up. Apparently, you know, I've been put on a different path, because when the doctor asked me if I had any questions, I was asking, you know, when can I do nutshots? When can I jump on the trampoline? When can I do flips? And those aren't typical questions that somebody, that the doctor is used to answering about a CSF leak. Most times, people are trying to figure out when they're ever going to just be better again and not feel horrible again. So he kind of put me on a streamlined recovery, where a lot of people, this lady today was saying she didn't feel better for over a year after she got the same procedure that I got. And a lot of times they're telling people, like, no, not even yoga for like 2 years after they have this procedure done to fix up their spinal leak. So some days I think I'm leaking and I'm getting worse. Other days I kind of, you know, think I'm still on that path. It's a long process, so hopefully in the end it works out and I'll be good to go Christmas, or maybe not, and that's just, it is what it is. But I think I appreciate you reaching out. Hope you get better, brother. Thank you so much. Brian, throughout all the stunts you've done, are there any that you regret doing, or wish had turned out differently? I hope everything gets better for you, man. Thank you. I saw this before and I tried to think about it for a second to figure out if I could remember anything particular that I regretted. I don't usually regret stunts. Actually, the stunt that I got hurt most on was jumping off the 2-story roof through the wood, nuts first, and I miscalculated, and one of the there was a cement bucket that one side of the structure that I jumped through was being held up by, and I overshot and I landed nuts first on the cement bucket, broke some of my ribs. Found out later I actually broke up I found out actually, what, 5 years later, 3 years later, 4 years, I don't know, years later that I actually broke my back. Didn't go to the hospital, let my ribs heal up. This was, you know, the worst injury that I've ever had, maybe besides my CSF leak. And I don't regret that. Like, it was like, I kind of wish that I wouldn't have got hurt, but like, it was kind of a career-defining stunt that I made a mistake on, and I think you learn from mistakes. And if anything, next time I go to do, actually I did do that stunt again. I originally did it on America's Got Talent. I did it again where I got really hurt, and then later on I did it on my honeymoon in Paris on a TV show, live TV show in Paris. And I did that stunt again, and I was able to learn from it and executed it perfectly in French on French TV. So just to go into that for a second, I got to do a gig that happened to be a week after my wedding in France, and so I got to fly halfway across the world or whatever it was. And have basically a free honeymoon in France with my wife, just for getting hit nuts. So it's just complete insanity there. I think if I had to say I regret any stunts, on America's Got Talent, there was a couple of stunts. I think I ran and jumped into a pole, and then I tried to redo the swing down nut shot into a pole, and the first pole nut shot, I completely missed my nuts. And the swing down nut shot, which I think was a different live event, I slipped and fell onto my back, which is insanity. But like, if both of those would have went correctly, they would just have looked so sick on TV. So I wish I could go back because they were live and I couldn't redo them. And it made me look like I was like doing it on purpose. But sometimes it's just extremely difficult to fly through the air and hit your nuts on something. Besides mentally committing to it, sometimes it takes some accuracy and some agility and some everything to go perfectly. Do you think the TV show that you filmed with Ben will ever come out for us to watch? So this is kind of what I hit on earlier. I signed a contract with MTV last year. We went out, me and Ben Gravy went out, and we tried out for this TV show. We both got the part. Then they ended up casting my brother, Billy, and Ben's brother, Tucker F. Rapper, which a lot of you probably know. And we went out and shot a pilot, and it went through the whole process of getting tested out and going in front of the higher-ups, and they selected they basically took like 30 shows, and they showed them around, and they selected a few of the shows, and they selected one of our shows to make into a TV show. So we were in pre-production. We were doing medical exams, psych exams. We were sending in our wardrobe sizes. I was working every day, writing ideas, sending ideas to the producers. They had a small team of in the offices at the production company, and we were working on this show. And I was about a month out from going out to film the show, or actually a couple months out. It was like 2 months out maybe. And MTV changed management. One of their high-ups, or a couple of their high-ups, like stepped down and left the company, and they changed management. And they ended up, out of the blue, canceling about 23 shows that were in pre-production. And one of them ended up being our show. And it was a heartbreaker. And part of, I think I really struggled with that in my life. And it was one of the hardest things I ever had to go through, because it really felt right. I really believed in the show. I really thought it was going to be a hit. I got to watch the pilot of the show. It was one of my most, I was so proud of it, and I was so excited to show it to people, like friends and family. And it was really believed in it, and it got taken away from us for literally no reason. It had nothing to do with the show itself. It had to do with basically political reasons of the business reasons. Somebody came in, didn't want whoever was before them having a show and wanted to start fresh and do something themselves and canceled a bunch of shows, and we got the wrath of it. So that was horrible. So unfortunately, you'll probably never see that. But with that said, me and Ben Gravy and the boys are always going to keep pushing, and I'm personally writing show ideas, and while I'm getting healthier and when I get healthy, we're going to be trying to get some things out there. So the dream never ends, and we're just going to keep that going. Kobus says, hope you get better. I appreciate it. Thank you. Blue Blind, you are awesome. Thank you, Blue Blind. Sinjo. So Sinjo started watching, found me about CSF leaks. So question, were your brain tonsils descended into the spinal cord? If so, what did the doctors tell you about that? So I don't think so. Nobody ever specifically said that to me. So the way it works is there's brain fluid that goes in your skull and it goes down through your spinal, goes down through your spine in this tough tissue called the dura. The brain fluid in your skull kind of keeps your brain in place. So if you're having a leak, there's actually less brain fluid in your skull. And if there's less brain fluid in your skull keeping your brain in place, your brain actually goes down. And that's how they found out that I had a CSF leak, or that's how they thought it was a possibility that I'd have a CSF leak, because they saw differences in an MRI I've had of my brain from 2012 and an MRI that I had in my brain the beginning of this year, and saw that my brain was actually sagging down. So as far as I know, my brain tonsils weren't descending into my spinal cord. As far as I know, my brain was just sagging a little bit, enough to tell that I was losing spinal fluid. Is that the last one? Okay, so last one. This is like a whole bunch of questions. I'm gonna try to go through these rapid fire. This is from Jennifer Bell on Facebook. Did the docs find the exact spot of your tear? They did. It was in my lower thoracic spine. They found it when I went to Duke University. Dr. Kranz was able to do a CT myelogram and find my leak right away. He said I made it really easy for him. He found it right away. And they gave me blood, and they gave me the glue in that area. Did they know if you had more than one tear? No, as far as I know, I was only leaking in one spot, and I don't know if it was a leak or a tear, or a hole or a tear. Did you ever experience pain in your teeth from the leak? Yes. I would feel numbness in my teeth. I'd feel pain in my jaw, kind of my whole sinuses. Did you ever experience pain in your teeth from the? Or I already did that. Did change in humidity trigger your symptoms? I think so. When I was having bad symptoms this year, and I actually went down to Florida where it was high humidity, I actually felt a lot better down there. When I came back up, I felt bad again. So I think so, but I haven't documented it enough to give like an exact answer. Have you heard from Dr. Connie D lately? How is her recovery? I haven't heard too much about her recovery. I have talked to her for here and there. We're working together to try to do some things to spread awareness. She runs the Spinal CSF Leak Foundation, and I try to do whatever I can to help out. She's really busy, and I'm really busy, so we talk from here to here, or from there to there. And but yeah, we are trying to work on some things together. Did you have sound sensitivity from your leak? Yes, my left ear, when all my neck would get really tight, would go into my head. I would get headaches, and it would go my sinuses would go the whole way to my ear. It felt like, and I would have a maxing out. Like things were too loud, and in my left ear I could barely hear. Which I actually went to a ear lab and got it tested. And it wasn't that I couldn't hear; it was actually that I could hear. I was hearing too loud. And it was causing major problems with everything. Did the docs give you the max amount of blood for your blood patch? I think the last one I had, the last blood patch, where they actually knew where the leak was, it wasn't the max, but I'm honestly, I don't even know. I have got the absolute max before. So the one time I was getting a blind blood patch because they didn't know where my leak was. This was earlier this year. the lady, the doctor that was actually doing the procedure where they take blood out of your arm and shoot blood from a needle into your spine. That's what I was going through. I was sitting up in this hospital bed, and that's what they were doing to me. She says, "I've seen your videos. So this is normally where I ask the patient if they're okay, but I know you're okay. So you just tell me when you can't take the pain anymore, and that's when I'll stop." So that's like literally the truth of what happened. So I let that thing fill up complete max, and it was really, really aggressive. My spine was like a lead pipe for like at least a few days. It was super brutal. Driving during a flare is one of the most painful activities. Skim through this, trying to stable from the bumping and such. Can you relate? When I first got my symptoms, I couldn't even drive. Driving has been a struggle the last like 5 years at times, especially energy-wise. But when I first got these symptoms, I could barely even be in the passenger side of the car, and most times I was in more than like 10 minutes, I would throw up from the pain and the motion sickness. I really couldn't even sit in a chair like on my computer and work without getting really bad symptoms. Are there specific activities that you find that are more painful than others while you're having symptoms? Bending over. Before, not so much now. Well, actually, I can't even bend over now. I'm not allowed to, so I don't even know if I still have this symptom. But bending over before my patch, I would go down, like, let's say to do the laundry. I was switching out laundry. I would come up, and the pain would be so bad. It would feel like my brain was burning, like a painful brain rush. And the first couple of times I thought I was going to completely pass out. I never did pass out, but it was literally the worst pain anytime I bent over, and that's when I really knew something was wrong. And do you experience tremors in your arms? I do not. So that's all the questions. I'm going to switch over here. I have two screens here, so I'm going to be looking over here. I'm going to see. I saw you guys were doing a lot on the live chat here. I'm going to see if you guys want to put any more questions in. I will try to answer. I'm going to go through these and see if I can answer any of these live. I always got to give a shout out to Mama Wolf. Mama Wolf monitors my live feed. She sends me, in this particular one, I can see all your comments, but usually they come up so fast and I can't respond to everybody, and she usually sends me copies of the live feed so I can kind of, at the very least, see some of the questions or some of the statements or comments that people have been leaving. Mark York, the man, says, when was your last poop? It was about 20 minutes before I did this live feed. And let me tell you something about my poops. It's a struggle with the CSF leak. And I'm serious about that, because when I yell or I strain, like lift or I push, when I'm pooping, I haven't been able to really push without pain for so long. So pooping, I have to poop and try to like not strain. And that's really difficult to do, because I like to just get in, get out, and I can't do that because if I went to the bathroom and just tried to push as hard as I can, that would be an extreme pain. You guys are probably not expecting that type of answer from that question, but that's the reality. The little things you don't know when you're recovering from a medical condition. Mama Wolf wanted me to talk about something, but I don't know what that is. So Mama Wolf, we'll talk and we'll expand on that some more in the future. Mason says, you're not the manager. I'm guessing he's talking about my parkour gym. I am the program director of the whole urban program. There's an owner of the gym, and then there's there's a bunch of programs underneath that, and my program is the Ninja program, and I run the whole program. So ultimately, all those decisions that go on with those classes start with the owner, and then everything under that is me, and I kind of like come up with everything and get his approval. What do you think about the Zacharias Holmes guy from Scott Chi? And that's a good question, because me and Zacharias Holmes have had a history for a long time. We were kind of, I was in the stunt game. I'm a little older than him, so I was in the stunt game at least a couple years before him. But once the internet and there started to be all these web shows, we were on a lot of the same TV shows together. And he actually got the Golden Download Awards on Web Soup, a TV show on G4, for being the king of the nutshots. And I wrote in and I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. I've been doing this for years. I kind of like almost went on this rant. I was kind of half joking, but at the same time serious, because it was like my thing. It's what I did. And so there's this whole bit, and you might even be able to find it online, of me calling out Zacharias Holmes and Web Soup giving the trophy or giving the title of the king of nutshots to me over Zach Holmes. So he's had a lot of success lately, and it started on Tosh.0, and then he had some Facebook videos that went really extremely viral, and then he went out and shot with Steve-O. I think it's really cool. I think he would tell you the same thing. He's not all about nutshots. He would do any stunt that he thinks is funny or crazy or stupid or whatever. So I've never met him personally. I would definitely work with him. I think he even has I don't know what network on, but I think he has maybe even a TV show in the works. I wish him the best. I think that I'm still the king of the nutshot. I got claimed that by, even more so by Howard Stern when I was on America's Got Talent. I think I kind of, I don't want to feel like I'm bragging or humble brag or whatever. I feel like I am the first person to make a career out of just taking nut shots. Like, that's my niche. Like, I know I do all types of stunts, but to kind of like, I feel like I earned the king of the nutshot title. And so, but that doesn't mean that he can't be doing what he does and have success. And maybe we'll cross paths and even do something in the future together. So wish him all the best. And actually, if he sees this, Zacharias, if you see this, like, I know he's even going through a leg injury where he's recovering, but like, let's get together in the future and let's do something, for sure. Stefan Curtis, can we get a shout out for our brothers and sisters in arms from Fort Stewart, Georgia? There is a shout out for you guys. I appreciate you guys watching. You guys kill it. All right, so I got a question from 4H, or I guess it's 400 Diamonds. What was being on the Howard Stern, or what was being on Howard Stern like? That was, I have a hard time saying that wasn't the coolest thing that I ever did, was being on the Howard Stern show. If you listen to Howard Stern at all, and you see the type of A-list guests and people in history that have been on his show, and the fact that I can say that I went on his show as a guest and sat on his show for like an hour, hour and a half, or however long it was the most mind-boggling thing that I ever went through. I left in the morning at like 4 in the morning from Pennsylvania. Within 20 minutes into my trip, got pulled over. The officer pulled me over and said, where are you headed? I said, I'm actually going to be on the Howard Stern show. So he just like let me go. Picked up Ben Gravy. I was with my brother and one of my best friends, Mike, and we drove to New York City. Went on the show. I think some of it's up on the Nub TV channel if you want to check it out. And I think it replays on Sirius satellite radio every once in a while. But it flew by so fast. I think I fell asleep in the green room at one point, and it was all over before I could even think about it. And he was so nice. He was so down to earth. He made sure he met everybody that I brought. He gave me compliments and like really told me that he was rooting for me, like off radio. It was overall so cool, and I made decent friends with some of the people that are on the show, like Shuli, and did his block party that he throws. And he shared some of the stuff that I've done live on Periscope, and it's just like, it's been a really cool, I get a lot of fans that came from that Howard Stern kind of fan group that started watching my videos once they saw me on America's Got Talent, and then once they heard me on, and actually it was Howard TV at the time, so actually heard me and saw me on the Howard Stern show, so awesome. All right. Well, this was like a really, really aggressive, long feed that I've been going on here. Have I really been on for almost like 50 minutes, or has it just been like a half hour? I don't know. This is probably the longest live feed I've ever done. Oh, Stefan Curtis has said, for over 20 minutes I was trying to figure out what the shirt pics meant, and I just got it. Oh, nice. Yeah, I also have this guy for sale on my store. You could probably figure out what it means pretty quickly. But it's really funny when I wear this shirt out in public, which I don't do often anymore, like, because I'm often with my kids and going to the kids events, so I try not to wear this. But I get a lot of old people going, "What is that, like coffee? Is that like?" They just can't figure out what it means, and it's really funny because it's not in their lingo, and it's not necessarily appropriate to say it to them. So, but I've been busting this shirt out more often because I kind of forgot about it for a little bit. But I think I'm going to wrap it up there. I'm going to do more of these. So if you have questions, maybe leave it in the comments below in these videos. And then eventually I'll put out another video saying, hey, like, I'm going to do another QA tomorrow. If you have any questions, get them in ahead of time. That way I can hopefully more likely get back to you. And I appreciate everybody that's been tuning in live, and I appreciate anybody that watches this later. And thank you for joining me on this journey of trying to get back to being healthy as a horse and doing nutshots, and thank you for being patient. I know some of you want to see some wild stuff, and that's where I want to be headed to. I just have to do the right thing and recover fully. So this is something that I'm just dealing with, hopefully this year and not the rest of my life. And I can get back on with my normal life and get things going. So thank you so much. And I will be back on Monday with either an edited video or another live feed. And you guys are awesome. So stay nasty, and I will talk to you Monday. Peace. Oh, gotta do the ender. No!
The horse!